20 questions on the world before the revolution. 3 empires, 1 continent, and a history most people know very little about. We start easy, but the double shot is for the true experts. Pour your coffee and keep score. Jamestown, the first permanent English colony in North America, was founded in 1607 in which present-day state? A. Massachusetts. B. Maryland. C. Virginia. D. Georgia. St. Augustine, founded by Spain in 1565, holds what distinction among European settlements in North America? A. Oldest surviving settlement. B. Largest colonial port. C. First capital of New Spain. D. Site of the first Thanksgiving. Colonial United States was bigger than the 13 English colonies. St. Augustine predates both Jamestown and Plymouth by decades. What was the Mayflower Compact, signed by the Pilgrims in 1620? A. A trade agreement with indigenous nations. B. An early framework for self-government among the colonists. C. A declaration of independence from Britain. D. A royal charter granting land rights. Established in Virginia in 1619, what is considered the first representative legislative assembly in the English colonies? A. The Mayflower Compact. B. The House of Burgesses. C. The Continental Congress. D. The Virginia Company. The Dutch colony of New Amsterdam was renamed what after England seized control in 1664? A. Boston. B. Philadelphia. C. New York. D. New Haven. In what year did Samuel de Champlain found Quebec City? A. 1598. B. 1608. C. 1620. D. 1663. That round was a quick one. Now we're on to the medium roast round, where life in the colonies gets more complicated. The Salem witch trials of 1692 took place in which colony? A. Massachusetts. B. Connecticut. C. New York. D. Rhode Island. William Penn founded Pennsylvania primarily as a haven for which religious group? A. Puritans. B. Anglicans. C. Quakers. D. Catholics. Bacon's Rebellion of 1676, an uprising against colonial governance, took place in which colony? A. Massachusetts. B. Virginia. C. South Carolina. D. New York. The Pueblo Revolt of 1680, a successful uprising against Spanish colonial rule, took place in present day where? A. Texas. B. California. C. New Mexico. D. Arizona. Georgia, founded in 1733 as the last of the 13 English colonies, originally served as a buffer against which Spanish territory? A. South Carolina. B. Cuba. C. Louisiana. D. Spanish Florida. What term describes European laborers who worked for a set number of years in exchange for passage to the colonies? A. Apprentices. B. Freeholders. C. Indentured servants. D. Yeomen. That round was a quick one. Now we're on to the medium roast round, where life in the colonies gets more complicated. The economic engine driving French colonization of New France was the fur trade. What commodity played the equivalent role in Spanish colonization of New Spain? Mexico. A. Tobacco. B. Sugar. C. Cotton. D. Silver. In quizzes 2 and 4, there were questions about the Hudson's Bay Company and the fur trade in New France, Quebec. French colonists who lived and traded deep in the northern interior, often integrating closely with indigenous communities, were known by what French term? A. Coureurs de bois. B. Seigneur. C. Habitant. D. Intendant. The Spanish colonial labor system that granted colonists the right to demand labor and tribute from indigenous peoples was called what? A. Encomienda. B. Repartimiento. C. Hacienda. D. The mission system. The casta system of colonial New Spain organized colonial society primarily around what factor? A. A person's racial and ethnic ancestry. B. Religious affiliation. C. Land ownership. D. Military rank. In New France, colonial administration paired a military governor with an official responsible for justice, finance, and economic affairs called the what? A. Governor General. B. Intendant. C. Seigneur. D. Magistrate. The 1755 British campaign to forcibly remove French-speaking Acadians from Nova Scotia is known in French as what? A. The Trail of Tears. B. The Great Migration. C. The Highland Clearances. D. Le Grand Derangement. Thousands of Acadians were deported, many eventually resettling in Louisiana, where Acadian evolved into Cajun. Some of the dark roast questions were tricky, but you're almost to the end. Now, get ready for the double shot round. Issued immediately after the French and Indian War, which 1763 proclamation drew a boundary along the Appalachian Mountains, restricting British colonial settlement and reserved land for indigenous nations. A. The Treaty of Paris. B. The Quebec Act. C. The Stamp Act. D. The Royal Proclamation of 1763. The 1763 Treaty of Paris ended the 7 Years' War, of which the French and Indian War was a part. The proclamation followed almost immediately after the treaty. Before New France passed to Britain, the massive French fortress guarding the approach to the St. Lawrence River, nicknamed the Gibraltar of the New World, stood at what site? A. Quebec City. B. Montreal. C. Port Royal. D. Louisbourg. That's the double shot. However you scored, you stuck around for the hard stuff, and that's what counts. Like, subscribe, and drop your score in the comments, and we'll see you again. Same time, same cup.